Ohio State wide receiver Jeremiah Smith just stepped into full Buckeye historian mode, and what he revealed has fans debating legends all over again, because when you're asked to name the Mount Rushmore of Ohio State wide receivers, there is no safe answer, only chaos, and Smith knew it. During a recent appearance on the Downs to Business podcast with former Buckeye teammate Caleb Downs and NFL receiver Josh Downs, Smith was hit with the ultimate Buckeye question: if you had to carve 4 Ohio State wide receivers into stone forever, who gets immortalized? Even more interesting, he was given permission to include himself, which honestly most fans would have accepted without argument considering what he's already done in scarlet and gray. But instead of taking the easy route, Smith showed humility that's rare for a player dominating college football the way he has. He immediately ruled himself out, saying he hasn't done enough yet, which is wild when you consider that defenses already treat him like a future NFL superstar. From there, Smith went straight to the foundation of Buckeye receiver greatness, starting with Chris Carter, a name that basically requires no explanation. Hall of Famer, one of the cleanest route runners the game has ever seen, and a standard setter for what Ohio State receivers could become at the next level. Carter wasn't just great in college, he helped define greatness after it, and Smith clearly understands that legacy matters just as much as stats. Next on the mountain was Jackson Smith-Njigba, a modern Buckeye legend whose 2021 season still feels unreal when you look back at it. JSN's Rose Bowl performance alone might deserve its own monument, and Smith clearly respects how Jackson dominated alongside other elite talents and still managed to stand out as the guy defenses feared most. Then came Marvin Harrison Jr., and honestly, this one felt automatic. Marv Jr. didn't just live up to a legendary last name, he elevated it, becoming one of the most complete wide receivers college football has seen in years. Size, hands, roots, football IQ, clutch moments, you name it, he checked every box, and Smith placing him on the mountain felt like a nod to the current golden age of Ohio State receivers. That left one final spot, and this is where things got really interesting, because Ohio State's history at receiver is so loaded that choosing just one more name feels almost unfair. Fans immediately start running through legends like Terry Glenn, Joey Galloway, Paul Warfield, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and the list just keeps going. But Smith didn't hesitate long before landing on Ted Ginn Jr., a choice that speaks volumes about impact beyond traditional receiving numbers. Ginn wasn't just a receiver, he was electricity. Every time he touched the ball, the stadium held its breath. Kick returns, jet sweeps, deep shots, he changed games before defenses even settled in, and that kind of influence leaves a permanent mark on a program's identity. By choosing Ginn, Smith showed he values how a player forces opponents to completely rethink how they play, not just how many yards they rack up. What makes this whole conversation even more fascinating is how close Jeremiah Smith himself is to forcing his way onto that mountain whether he likes it or not. Statistically, he's already knocking on the door of Buckeye immortality. He's sitting at 27 career receiving touchdowns, and he's within striking distance of becoming Ohio State's all-time leader in multiple major categories. With just over 300 more receiving yards, he's expected to climb to the top of the school's yardage list early next season, possibly within the first couple of weeks. He's also fewer than 50 catches away from becoming the program's all-time receptions leader, a mark that could fall before October if things go the way most people expect. And if he adds 10 more receiving touchdowns, he'll own that record too, completing what would be one of the most dominant statistical trifectas in Buckeye history. That's not projection or hype, that's math. And it makes Smith's refusal to include himself on Mount Rushmore feel almost temporary, like he knows what's coming but isn't ready to claim it yet. The irony is that when this season ends, and when Smith likely heads to the NFL, he's going to force a very uncomfortable conversation for Buckeye fans and historians alike, because someone is going to have to get bumped. That's the brutal part of Mount Rushmore debates. History doesn't expand just because a new legend arrives. Someone always loses a spot. And while fans will argue endlessly over who that should be, Smith's career trajectory suggests he won't be excluded for long. What makes Ohio State so unique is that this debate isn't hypothetical, it's constant. Every generation produces another elite wideout who raises the standard again, from the early legends to the modern NFL stars who seem to roll out of Columbus every single year. Jeremiah Smith isn't just aware of that lineage, he's actively studying it, respecting it, and preparing to add his own chapter. Whether you agree with his Mount Rushmore or not, one thing is undeniable: Smith understands what it means to wear that jersey, and he knows that greatness at Ohio State isn't claimed, it's earned. And if the numbers, performances, and trajectory tell us anything, it's that by the time his Buckeye career ends, he won't be debating whether he belongs on that mountain, he'll be part of the argument everyone else is having.